It happened on a rainy Friday night in a quiet little diner just outside of Boston. Mia sat at a corner booth, nervously straightening her dress for the 10th time. She'd been excited for this blind date for weeks. She'd bought a new floral dress, fixed her hair carefully, and practiced smiling in the mirror, but what she didn't know was that this night would start as one of the most humiliating moments of her life and end as one of the most beautiful. Before we jump into this emotional story, if you love real stories that show the power of kindness, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Kindness in Action. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. We love hearing your stories. Mia had always been self-conscious about her weight. She wasn't someone who fit the fashion magazine mold. She wasn't petite, or slim, or the kind of girl movies made the main character. But she was kind. She was smart. And she had a heart so big that her friends often joked she was too good for this world. This blind date had been set up by her co-worker. The man's name was Ryan. He was 30, tall, and from what she'd seen on social media, handsome. Mia had been nervous. She'd always worried about how people saw her. But her friend had reassured her, "He's nice, Mia. He's looking for someone real." As the rain tapped against the diner windows, Mia checked her phone. 6:58 p.m. 2 minutes early. She took a deep breath. At exactly 7 o'clock, she saw him walk in. Ryan glanced around the room, then spotted her. Mia smiled and raised her hand shyly. But instead of smiling back, his expression shifted just slightly. A quick flash of disappointment. The kind people often try to hide but can't. He walked over slowly. "Mia?" he asked, his voice flat. "Yes," she said, smiling warmly. "Hi, it's so nice to meet you." They sat down, but Mia could feel it. The way his eyes drifted toward the door. The way his shoulders leaned slightly back, as if he didn't want to be too close. She tried to make small talk about the rain, about their favorite shows, but his answers were short. Distant. Then it happened. Ryan leaned forward slightly and said quietly, "Listen. I'm just going to be honest. You're nice, but you're not really what I expected." He paused, avoiding her eyes. "I thought you'd be, smaller." For a second, the world around Mia blurred. Her heart pounded in her chest. She forced a shaky laugh, like maybe she'd misheard him. "Smaller?" "Yeah," he said bluntly. "I just don't think this is going to work." Mia felt her face burn. She nodded quickly, trying to hold herself together. "That's okay," she whispered. "I understand." And just like that, he stood up, put on his jacket, and walked out. Mia sat there, staring at the melting ice in her water glass. The room felt louder now, the chatter, the clinking dishes, the hum of the neon sign outside. She wanted to disappear. To melt into the booth and never be seen again. The next table, a little boy about 6 years old had been watching everything. He was sitting with a man, his dad, who'd noticed too. The dad, a broad-shouldered man with kind eyes, looked at Mia. For a moment, he hesitated. Then he stood up and walked over. Mia quickly wiped at her cheeks, embarrassed. She forced a small smile. "I'm fine," she said softly, before he even spoke, but he shook his head gently. "No one should ever make someone feel like that," he said. She blinked, unsure how to respond. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a napkin. "First rule of diner life," he said with a little grin. "Napkins fix everything." She laughed through the tears. A small, cracked laugh, but real. "My son saw what happened," the man continued, nodding toward the little boy. "He asked me why that man was being mean to the pretty lady." Mia froze. "Pretty lady?" The man smiled. "Yeah. That's what he said. He said you look like a princess from his storybook. And, honestly, I kind of agree." Mia's throat tightened. No one had said something like that to her in a long time. He extended his hand gently. "I'm Daniel. And that curious little guy is Max." Max waved enthusiastically from the table, his toothy grin making Mia smile despite everything. Daniel tilted his head toward the empty seat across from Max. "If you don't have any plans, would you like to join us for dinner?" "Max has been talking my ear off about pancakes." Mia hesitated for just a second. She could have gone home. She could have curled up in bed and let this night define her. But something about Daniel's gentle eyes and Max's innocent grin made her heart soften. She nodded slowly. "I'd like that." As she slid into the booth with them, Max immediately started talking about his favorite superheroes, his latest art project, and the dog he wanted. Daniel listened patiently, sometimes adding in a dry joke that made Mia giggle. It wasn't a romantic dinner. It wasn't a date. But it was warm. Real. Safe. Mia felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Seen. Not for what she looked like, but for who she was. Halfway through dinner, Daniel leaned forward and said, "You know, people who judge others by appearances miss out on the best parts of life." She met his gaze. There was no pity in his eyes. "Just kindness." "When my wife passed away," he continued softly, "I promised myself I'd raise Max to see people for their hearts. Not their size, not their looks. Their hearts. He saw yours before I even walked over." Mia swallowed hard, blinking back tears. "Thank you," she whispered. Daniel shrugged, smiling. "Kindness costs nothing. And tonight, I think Max and I made a new friend." They spent the rest of the night talking like old friends. Mia left the diner not with the sting of rejection but with the warmth of kindness wrapped around her like a soft blanket. As she walked to her car, she caught Max waving at her from the window, his little hand pressed against the glass. She waved back, smiling wider than she had in weeks. Sometimes, kindness doesn't come from where we expect it. Mia had walked into that diner hoping for romance, but she walked out reminded that good people still exist. That kindness can heal the deepest wounds. And that one cruel moment can be rewritten by one act of compassion. Ryan's words could have broken her that night. But Daniel's kindness and Max's innocent heart reminded her that her worth wasn't tied to someone else's narrow standards. It was hers. And it was real. In the weeks that followed, Mia stayed in touch with Daniel and Max. Their bond grew not because of looks, but because of laughter, trust, and warmth. Kindness had turned a painful night into the start of something beautiful. Kindness doesn't always need grand gestures. Sometimes, it's a warm smile. A seat at your table. A gentle word when someone feels invisible. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe to Kindness in Action. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder of their worth, and comment below with a moment when kindness changed your life, because kindness is powerful. It doesn't just change moments. It changes people.